Hi, my name is Sylvie. I'm a certified health coach and fitness trainer. And today's video is about the top 5 most common weight loss myths that I hear going around. What gave me the idea to create this video and the blog post is actually an article that I read online giving weight loss advice to women over 40. And a lot of these tips were actually stuff I heard before, but I got so frustrated that I decided to kind of create a counter argument because I'm really tired of hearing those. So we're gonna go over these top 5 myths, and then I'm going to quickly explain why sometimes it's hard for women over 40 to lose weight. And I'm going to suggest some solutions that you may want to try. So myth number 1 is don't skip meals. Right? I'm sure you have heard that one before, and I am sure you're not very surprised that I would put that one as my number 1 most common myth, since my thing is intermittent fasting, and to me, skipping meals is like one of the most effective methods that has allowed me to finally lose weight that I hadn't been able to lose. Doing all the things like eating 6 meals a day, all these different strategies that are supposed to keep your metabolism revved up. So for starters, you need to realize that eating any food, because obviously a lot of these articles talk about eating low glycemic foods and healthy foods, just light meals 6 times a day, but anytime you eat, that will raise your blood sugar. And there are more and more studies coming out to suggest that time-restricted eating is an amazing help when it comes to controlling your blood sugar. Also, there's a study from the University of Ottawa that has found that there's absolutely no difference in weight loss benefits whatsoever when you eat 6 meals a day compared to 3 meals a day. And another small-scale study found that restricting meals to a 9-hour window improved blood glucose levels. And that's another factor to consider. Controlling your blood glucose level will help control your appetite. Most women notice that the more they eat, the more they want to eat. That was the case for me. And that is because your blood glucose is going up and down, and you are becoming very glucose dependent for energy. Also, ghrelin, your hunger hormone, works hand in hand with insulin. And as eating frequently keeps your blood sugar higher, it increases the secretion of insulin, and that's how many of us tend to become more insulin resistant. It seems like there seems to be a correlation between insulin resistance and higher levels of ghrelin. Ghrelin makes you feel hungry, so that's not what you want if you're trying to lose weight. So if you ever hear that eating smaller, more frequent meal will help keep your appetite under control, think again. It's most likely going to have the exact opposite effect. Myth number 2 is avoid counting calories. The idea that counting calories in itself is detrimental and will cause you to fail in your weight loss journey isn't true. Of course, nobody wants to be counting calories long term, and that's why intermittent fasting works so well. I mean, it's a natural way to decrease the number of calories you're consuming without really having to worry about it. But I mean, if you want to lose weight, you're gonna have to eat fewer calories than what your body's using. There's no other ways to get around that. I know there's lots of other things that come into play, and we've talked about that in some of my other videos, like for example, calories coming first from whole foods versus processed foods, or from protein versus carbs and fats. There's different factors that come into play, but in the end, no matter where your calories are coming from, you just need to eat fewer of them if you're gonna lose weight. And sometimes counting calories may be what you need for a short period of time. Many of us tend to underestimate how many calories we are consuming. A lot of the time we are grossly miscalculating how much food we are consuming. So sometimes the strategy of counting calories, measuring food, may be helpful for some people. So I would never make the blanket statement to avoid counting calories. Another myth that I hear is let go of food rules. Again, it's the idea that following strict food rules is too hard to sustain long term, and it's not going to be something that you're going to keep up with. So if you lose weight, you're not going to keep it up. And I guess that's where the advice stems from. But come on. I mean, if you're trying to lose weight and struggling, whatever you've been doing up until now hasn't been working. And sometimes following some food rules may be just the extra help you need to start changing your lifestyle, improving your habits. I'm not a big fan of rules in general. I am all about learning to listen to your body. But then again, you don't want to throw out food rules out of the window either. I mean, for example, here are a few food rules that I would suggest that you try if you're trying to lose weight. Restrict your eating window to a 4-hour eating window, at least 4 days a week. Reduce your carb intake. No need to track your macros or anything like that, but filling up on vegetables, protein, healthy fats will be much more beneficial and help you lose weight faster as opposed to filling up on bread, desserts, and other things. I think that's kind of obvious. Eat whole foods. So pick the best foods that nourish your body. Processed foods do not serve you. You end up serving them instead, because once you start eating them, you have a hard time stopping. That's what many of us experience when we eat processed foods, because they have the perfect combination of chemicals and macros that stimulate your appetite. Drink water, avoid juices or other beverages. Just drink nice, clean water. So see, I mean, these are simple food rules, but they are rules that you should follow nonetheless. If you are looking to lose weight, you'll find them very, very beneficial. Myth number 4, avoid fad diets. Oh my goodness, this one comes up a lot. Fad diets like the keto diet, intermittent fasting. These are often the types of diets that nutritionists or dietitians are referring to when they say to avoid fad diets. But hey, listen, the standard American diet is a diet. I mean, is an eating style a fad diet just because it's not as common? No. I mean, look at the ketogenic diet. It's been around since the 1920s. Yet we call it a fad diet. Yeah, sure, when it was used back then, it was for epilepsy, not for weight loss. But back then, people were not consuming 57 grams of added sugar daily. Things have changed, yes. Like, people struggle with insulin resistance and they're very dependent on glucose for energy. They cannot go without food. They're not metabolically flexible. And the keto diet may be a great tool to help resolve that. Myth number 5, eat more. So I find this one a bit strange. I mean, I hear when I see these health coaches advise that we start eating more, they talk about having many clients that have been struggling to lose weight, and it's because they're not eating enough. They're putting their bodies in starvation mode. And when these clients start eating more, that's when they manage to finally lose the weight that they had been struggling to lose. I mean, I'm not denying that this can happen, although I would say that eating too much is a way more common problem. every time we're talking about losing weight, I see many people and intermittent fasting, I see so many people that seem to be very concerned that we're going to be starving ourselves, eating too few calories, and harming our bodies. Meanwhile, we have an epidemic of obesity. So I think probably we should be more concerned about eating too much rather than eating too little. Most of us, as I mentioned already, totally underestimate how much we eat, and we overestimate how much food we need. We think we should be able to eat 3 full meals a day and 2 nice snacks and not gain weight. Listen, just to give you an idea, I am super happy with my lifestyle. I am at my goal weight. I feel amazing. And all I need to eat most days is a shake, a huge salad, and 1 meal, like a plate full of food. That's all. I mean, I used to think that I needed breakfast, lunch, dinner, a snack in the evening, and then because I was eating so frequently and more than I needed, I found myself craving more foods and snacking in between, and that is the cascade that we often cause when we start eating too much like that and too frequently. So I don't think that eating more is generally the best advice. Now, before we end this video, let's talk quickly about why is it so hard to lose weight after the age of 40. Obviously, there's a hormonal component, and during perimenopause, for example, your estrogen levels are not stable. They tend to rise and fall more than during your childbearing years. So these hormonal changes caused by perimenopause and menopause all contribute to how much fat you are accumulating and where you are accumulating it. Both high and low levels of estrogen can lead to weight gain. But on top of that, there is another factor that also comes into play during perimenopause and menopause, is that your metabolic needs change. Your resting metabolic rate slows down and you don't need to eat as much food, but you're still used to eating the same amount of food that you were eating in your 20s, for example, and you have a hard time adjusting to that new requirement, and so you gain weight. Again, that's why intermittent fasting works so well, because it'll help you become more attuned to your hunger signals, and that shorter eating window will make it a lot harder to overeat. The 2 best weight loss tools for middle-aged women are modified fasting, which I talk about a lot in my videos. It's based on the fasting mimicking diet. It helps reset your hormones, heal your body. And the way it works is that for 5 days, you severely restrict your calorie intake to about 40% your regular calorie intake. You count your macros and you follow a very specific macronutrient ratio that induces autophagy. Autophagy is a process by which your body gets rid of all its dead cells, replace them with new ones, and that helps get your weight loss kick-started. It helps you feel amazing, and then you can start experimenting with intermittent fasting. And again, when you start intermittent fasting, I want to emphasize that it's preferable that you practice intermittent fasting using a shorter eating window, a longer fasting window, at least 18 to 20 hours fasting window, and you don't have to do it every single day, maybe 4 days a week, 5 days a week, and these 2 things together should really start giving you some great, exciting results. And if you would like some help implementing these principles, I recommend you check out my 30-day intermittent fasting transformation program. I lay it all out in my program. It comes with videos, PDF downloads, meal plans, Excel spreadsheets, like all the tools you need to succeed achieving your weight loss goal. So that's it for today's video. I'm done venting about these crazy weight loss myths. And if you have heard another weight loss myth that you thought was really strange, why don't you share in the comments? That might be fun to talk about. Thank you for watching.